Enjoy this Wild Soul Gathering production. I'm Dr. Sandra Marie. Pour yourself a really tall glass of spiritual curiosity and join me for the Happy Hour for the Spiritually Curious podcast. In the spirit of happy hour, cheers to some new insights, peace, revitalization, and perhaps an aha moment that may change your life. Some souls don't just survive, they alchemize pressure into prophecy. Today's guest, Diana Esther, is one of those rare luminous beings who carries wisdom not from books, but from bone-deep transformation. From a miraculous recovery from lymphatic cancer to a life of global spiritual service, Diana has emerged as a soul doctor, a poet, and a transformational coach, meeting people where the world cracks open. This isn't a story of healing back into something. It's a story of spiraling forward, of becoming something new. In this conversation, we're not just talking about purpose or peace. We're exploring the deep cellular codes of embodiment, soul remembrance, and what happens when we stop climbing ladders and start walking spirals. Diana, thank you for being on the show today.
Thank you so much, Sandra, for having me. Really appreciate. Very happy to be with you.
Well, you have such a powerful story. Your story isn't one of simple healing. It feels like transmutation to me. It's not just returning to health, but becoming something utterly new. What did that process of becoming ask of you? And when did you realize you weren't going back to who you were? You were becoming someone else entirely.
Actually, my story goes back into the former Soviet Union. I was born in the Soviet Union at the time of darkness and Cold War. Being deprived of any kind of knowledge in spirituality or religion. Being told that soul does not exist and we are just flesh and bones, and the way that we've been conditioned was completely different to teaching and understanding you have in the Western world. So you feel completely separated, obviously, from the divine. You don't know if the divine even exists. You don't believe in God. You believe in Communist Manifesto and everything that you can touch, feel, and see. And my journey began when my soul wanted to express itself since early childhood. And unfortunately, the way of life did not allow it. And my parents, they were lovely people but they had to work from morning to night and they had no time for any kind of emotional connection with me. So I was deprived of emotional connection. I was deprived of expressing what my soul came here to express. And my soul simply wanted to experience joy and happiness of life. And I never experienced in a physical life what joy and happiness really is. Because people those days, even, you would not believe it, even did not smile. They didn't smile because it was not part of who we were. You know,
Right.
everything was deeply grained in sadness and hard work, and that was part of our everyday life. At my early age, I had one night I had excruciating stomach aches, and I ended up in the hospital, and doctors didn't know what to do with me. They thought I had acute appendicitis and they wanted to operate, but thanks God they didn't. That night in the hospital, I was it's so much in pain, but we didn't even have painkillers to relieve this pain.
Oh,
So I was on my own, lying and holding my little body, and I felt I can't take the pain anymore. It was so strong that it was above me. And in that moment, I've heard a whisper for the first time within me. Whether it was in my heart, in my head, I don't know. But this whisper gave me so much courage and strength to pull it through. And whatever it was, it went through my body like a heat wave. and brought all the strength back to me. I obviously didn't know what was it, and I never shared this experience with anybody. I had no siblings. I couldn't speak to my parents about it because they simply would not understand. But that feeling of inner trust, for this inner whisper and inner guidance, helped me through my life many, many times over. It helped me to leave Soviet Union at the time where it was impossible to leave. My life was shattered in many pieces many times over because I was born in the middle-class Jewish family. And at the time of 6 Days War, the Jewish kids in Soviet Union were not allowed to study. So my future came to an end. I didn't know what's going to happen. And I was simply always going within. Whenever I had any issues or problem, I simply turned within, listened for the whispers, for the guidance, for something that can give me hope and shine the way forward, what to do. It happened to be that I met some young kids of my own age who also wanted to leave Soviet Union. None of us could because it was never possible. But because of the talks between Russia and United States to finally let the Jewish people out, and those talks lasted for several years, we finally received the invitation from Israel that was allowing us to apply to leave. After submission of these documents, it took 4 years, 4 years, not knowing if they will ever let us out. And one night, randomly, 400 people were chosen out of thousands who were applied. And we've been given 48-hour notice to leave. And in that moment, I knew that my soul was guiding me to the life of freedom, wherever it will take me. So this connection within me came very early, at the very early age, but it always lasted with me for such a long time. Anytime I have issue or I have a problem, it was, yes, listening to what people tell you, your family, your friends, the information I could gather. But I always, always trusted more than anything, always the whisper within my heart. And those whisper always helped me out. The moment I didn't listen, the moment I decide to take another way or do something else, it always proved wrong. So my connection to my soul, I obviously understand now it's soul, it's God, it's our power, it's divine within me. But it was something that I've committed to and connected with at the very early age without any knowledge or understanding, simply building this connection with my own trust.
Wow, that's really
Everything
a
that
powerful story.
So everything that happened in my life, whether it was health issues, relationship issues, money issues, anything, I always felt that there is no stronger and closer and more truthful friend than the voice within me. I know that most of the people have issue with trust because I think trust is the biggest issue. We have been told that life happening to us. We live instead of from inside out, we live from outside in. We feel very often not good enough, not strong enough, not clever enough, not educated enough. And we're always seeking advice of someone else who is more clever, who is more educated, who is more knowledgeable. But somehow we always diminish our own self, and we never take in consideration that maybe something within me, maybe the whisper that I disregard because my mind is so much stronger than my heart, can be this guiding light, this GPS that can take us out of any negative situation. Like you have the best friend, you have the divine parents within you that loves you beyond your human understanding. I can only say from experience because I am passionate about it. I write about it. I follow my whispers. I follow my feelings because when I looked at the world, the way we have been educated to use our mind, and our mind is very powerful. There is nothing wrong with it. It's brilliant. But when we stay in our mind, we go in circles in a way because our mind is only can give us what it has absorbed during all our lifetime. It's like a computer. It's simply programmed with everything we ever have accepted as our own truth. And obviously, being a young child, what do you know? You trust your parents, you trust your environment, you trust your teachers. And that's how we learn. We're born in different environment. We have different family issues. And everything that we going through create a huge impact on the way we think, the way we communicate, and the way we react in life. So when we stop living from our mind and drop into our heart, where all the wisdom and all the love and all the guidance is, this world will change in no time. Because living from the heart, it's something completely different. And it's maybe very much unknown to most of the people because people simply don't understand how to feel through life instead of how to think through life. Because we simply look at life, at any situation that we have, using our logic, using our mind power, which is fine. But mind was created to serve the heart. Mind was created to keep us safe and to keep us guided for the different purposes. But the main shining light and depths, it's obviously our heart.
Yeah, it sounds like you came into the world pretty turned on, like innately you knew these things as a child. And I feel like a lot more people are becoming aware of living through the heart. They're just not exactly sure of what that path looks like or sometimes how to get on it. But there seems to be more of an awareness and choices to change from living from a place of ego into a place of the heart. You had mentioned some healthcare issues that you have had in your
Yes,
life. You had the episode with the lymphatic cancer.
yes.
It sounds like you have had a lot of experiences that have brought you to where you're at now, which why to me it felt like you sort of were really transmuted into this whole different human being based on all these episodes. Do you feel that cancer was a messenger or more of a midwife for you on that journey?
I think cancer, the way I look at it, it was my blessing. People look at illnesses as a curse, and they always have inner fears why it's happened to them. The way I look at every illness, it didn't come to kill you, it did come to awaken you. Awaken something that you have been disregarding for a long time. Most of the illnesses have an emotional issues and obviously stress
Yeah.
under any kind of physical problem, any kind of physical disease. when it came to me, obviously, I was in my 30s. I had a young child. I was living in Germany at the time, and the wall just came down. And my husband and I tried to make living. We opened our own business and was working 7 days a week. So I hardly had any days off or times off. And obviously, a lot of responsibilities, high pressure, not thinking and not giving myself any kind of rest created this negative environment where my body just shut it down, just couldn't take it anymore. And what was interesting, because it was quite an unusual situation, it all started from just a little spot on my left hand wrist. I was about to go with my child to a holiday to the south of Italy, and this spot just was in my vision and just would not go away. It looked like a very kind of thick mosquito bite. And I decided to go to skin specialist just to see what is it. And unfortunately, I didn't get any diagnostics from him, apart from I've been given cortisone cream to try just in case of the hot sun and see how it's going to affect myself. So obviously, it didn't do anything. And I came back. And when I started to do biopsies, whatever it was, it didn't like it. And it started to grow rapidly as the mushrooms from my wrist to my elbow. And it took 2 years for my condition to be diagnosed. Every test I ever done would come back as inconclusive.
Wow.
I was getting really ill. I started to cough, and I was coughing for the whole year nonstop, every day, every moment. I couldn't even say a word. And I almost gave up on the medical science. I had no clue what was it. It never crossed my mind that it could have been killer cancer. Never even crossed one thought. And I decided, if doctors don't know what's wrong with me and I don't know what's wrong with me, just let it be. Whatever will happen, will happen. And because I was coughing badly, I went to see one of them otolaryngologists to see if there is something maybe in my throat or something that caused this kind of irritation. He, as everybody else who I went to see, could not diagnose my condition. But he asked me what it is on my left arm. And I said, look, nobody knows what it is. I really don't want to discuss it. Let's just forget about it. But he was quite persistent, and he said, look, Diana, for 9 years, I've been working with somebody who is world famous skin specialist out of Austria, and he's well known in his diagnostic. Why don't you go and see him? So at the last resort, I made an appointment to see this guy. He was 85 years old, still working as a clinical specialist in the hospital, never had his own practice. And as I walked into his room, he was on the opposite side, surrounded by maybe 20, 25 different young doctors learning from him. The moment I took my jacket and he saw my left arm, he asked immediately, where have you been for the last 2 years? And I stood frozen. I could not even make one step forward. I said, what do you mean? He said, call your home. You are not leaving this hospital because you have lymphatic cancer and you're going to stay here for further investigation. And it hit me like somebody took a hammer and hit it on my head. I could not believe it. And that night in the hospital was like a dark night of my soul. I cried myself out. I didn't know what to do, who to speak to. Natively, I pronounced a sentence, which I understand was very, very powerful sentence. That night, I actually spoke to my cancer. And I said, whatever you are not stronger than I am. And whatever you are, there is no way you can hit me and you can damage me. I have a young child. I have a lot to look forward to. And I'm much stronger than you are. I don't know what to do, but I will find a way. And the next day when they started to do all the tests, it seems like internal organs were not harmed, but everything was like only stood on the exterior. But it was a lymphatic cancer, and any moment the situation could have changed. I felt that moment in the hospital, that trust and that strength that I've pulled out of within me did not allow, it's like I built a barrier, not letting anything harmful to harm me inside.
So, how did your body and your spirit learn to trust each other again?
I think this trust was always within me. It just never left me. It never left me. It's not like I understood or I did any kind of meditation or I had any kind of mentor. No, I had no one. I had no clue what it is inside of me that was so powerful. It was like trusting the unknown and embracing the feeling that comes from within with such full trust without knowing where this trust will take you. After spending several weeks in the hospital and having local radiotherapy, I've been obviously advised to stay under the very strong supervision of hematologists because everything to do with your blood and lymph is everywhere. I've been advised not to have any more children, which obviously I didn't listen. When I had my second child, the issues become much more stronger, exactly as doctors were telling me it will happen. Because when I left hospital, I decided to completely live my life, not thinking about it, not taking anything to do with my health issues seriously, simply kind of put it under the carpet and forget about it. But it came back few years later when I was pregnant with my second child, and it came back in a way that I could not see it any longer. I've been offered at that time radiotherapy would not help any longer, so I've been offered chemotherapy. And chemotherapy those days were at the very, very beginning and was quite harmful. The moment I've heard about it, my body rebelled against it. And I didn't know what to do, obviously. So I spoke into the universe, whatever you call it, and I prayed for guidance and I asked if there is something in this world that can help me to heal, show me. I didn't get any answers, but I decide I will explore every possible alternative way to see if this can help my healing. So I booked myself to maybe 20-25 different alternative practitioners. I went to see them, and each and every one of them would say exactly the same sentence, that they would love to help me, but they cannot give me any reassurances. And those days, if you go alternative route, you're not allowed to do anything medical. Either or, you have a choice. You either trust alternative medicine or you take the route of proper medical treatment, chemotherapy, whatever. It's not like today. Today it's different. Today you have integrated medicine. Those days it was either or. I went to see each and every practitioner which would say exactly the same sentence. Nothing new. It, I felt like I'm losing hope and I don't see the direction. So last person on my list was woman who was in charge of the Homeopathic Association in Germany. But she was in Frankfurt. So I left Berlin. I flew to Frankfurt for a day to see her. And I felt there is no one else. This woman must be my answer. So when I walked into her office and mentioned everything what I said to others, she also came up with exactly the same sentence. And I burst into tears. And I said, you know what? I'm not leaving your office until you give me the answer, because there is no one else I can go to. And I know there is a way, and I know you have the answer for me. And Germans don't like such force. She got absolutely speechless. So we look at each other, maybe a minute, but it felt like a lifetime. And she said to me, why don't you try macrobiotics? I said, what is it? She said, it's a way to heal your body using specific diets. And in that moment, like every cell in my body was celebrating. The heat wave went through me like a lightning. And I said, I don't know anything about it. I don't have a clue. Can you introduce me to someone? She said, don't worry, go back to Berlin. It will be, somebody will be calling you. And that's how it happened. I went, a specialist called me. I went to see these people. They had a very small macrobiotic association those days, only 3 of them. And each of them had a story of miraculous recovery from different kind of cancers. So I put my full trust into their hands. I had about 2 weeks before my chemotherapy treatment that was already kind of booked. So I gave myself time to explore everything because I had to make decision either or anyway. So I had about 4 hours conversation and consultations with them. And they asked me questions nobody ever asked me. Very, very deep questions about myself, even about my mother while she was pregnant, if I knew anything about it. And after this consultation, they prescribed certain things for me to eat, to live. I had to change my life 360 degrees from one day to another, and I had no clue what to do. Everything they was talking about, it was like a foreign language to me. So I asked again for their help, and I used to go to the center every day at midday, eat nothing before 12, having something to eat there and taking one meal back home, and following every advice virtually religiously. And after 2 weeks, I had 40% success rate. 40%. It was lucky enough because it was on my hand and I could see it. Because if you have something internally and you can't see it unless you do scan or you do MRI. I was lucky. I guess it happened that way. So it gave me this strength and again boost my trust. I was so happy. I went to see my practitioner and I wanted to share this miracle with him. And he looked at me and he said, if I would be you, I wouldn't trust. Yeah, sometimes in my practice, those things come back, but I can reassure you, it will come back again. And I got so hurt from the way he spoke to me. I asked him just one question. I said, just be honest and open with me. The way it looks, do I have a little time to wait, or I have to make up my decision here and now about chemotherapy treatment, which is booked in a few days? He said, oh, it's okay. The way it looks right now, you still have a little time to wait. I stood up and I said to him, thank you for everything, but you will never ever see me again. And I left. And I went to the center and asked these people to show me where I can study. And they found for me a retreat which is no longer exist in Holland, in the forest. I was living 4 months in the wilderness. I left my children. I left my husband. My husband brought me there, and I was living in room which was 10 square meters with one bunk bed, like in the army, and learning and healing my body and eating and understanding what actually food really is. I can only say that my gratitude to this knowledge is absolutely immense. It's something that people need to know, because it's only help you through illnesses or issues. It helps you to balance your mind, body, and soul. Because everything we are, if people believe that they are not only flesh and bones, but also their energy being.
Okay.
Everything we eat and everything we drink, it's also energy. It's either bring balance into our bodies, or it take us off the balance. So when we deeply understand that everything that we do, everything that we think, what we say has a huge impact on how we feel, we are the most powerful beings that can change anything and everything. Because everything is already within us. It just needs to be activated.
Absolutely, I would agree with that. And I think it's interesting with you personally, and it is with each of us, even though it may be unique to us. You seem to have the same um, reaffirming kind of things that would happen to you with that warmth going through your body, and different things that you would experience, which were, sort of a soul remembrance that would give you affirmation. Because you mentioned that 2 or 3 times as you've talked about your journey here. So just to change things up a little
Yeah.
bit, you have shared that you've journeyed across the continents. You've been in a number of different countries and cultures. What have you noticed about soul wounds or yearning that seems universal no matter what the culture is?
I think the major issue of the world is understanding what fears are. I think everything that take us out of balance, it's has something to do with inner fears.
Okay.
And those inner fears are not just a feeling. It's what's interesting. If we look at the world, and we live in the world of duality, everything, we have negative and we have positive. We have black and white. We have good and bad. If we look at it and they're separate, we are having an issue. If we're looking at something negative or at something positive, and we believe that two completely different feelings or different entities, both very, very powerful, like love and fear, we are not going to find any kind of balance. We're always going to be off balance, and always the fear will keep us prisoner of our own beliefs. If we look at the world of duality, as two ends of the same stick. It's two parts of one subject, which is whole. There is no separation. If we look at it as oneness, it is up to us not to go too much to the left or to the right, creating this balance, but to find the middle path, which is the path of balance, understanding that within us we have everything. We have good, bad, negative and positive, love and fear, but because light is so much more powerful than darkness, and darkness has virtually no substance. The moment you light the candle in the dark room, the darkness simply dissipates. It has no substance. It's only our belief system that make elephant out of something that virtually does not exist. And because we believe in it, and because we feel captivated by these negative feelings, because everything around us, starting with media and other people opinions, keep us in this fear mode. If we look at it as something tangible, something you can touch it, but fear, it's something elusive, something that it's created within our psyche, within our mind, something that cannot be touched. The moment you go completely to the other side and you stop believing into this fear, it's no longer there. It's no longer present because we are not focusing on it anymore.
I would agree, and that makes so much sense. And it's interesting that that is the common thread across the globe. We're really not so different from anyone else next to us.
Yeah.
And it really is that simple. That was beautiful. Thank you. Diana, you've described yourself as a diamond shaped by pressure, and you've certainly given us some examples of that. And you've refined through these hard experiences that you're sharing. What at this point does that actually mean in your day to day life now?
First of all, diamond for me, it's not a metaphor. Long time ago, I studied diamond business in US, but never made career out of it. It simply kind of got forgotten. I got married, I had children, moved countries, went through all my challenges. And about 5 years ago, when I was during the lockdown of COVID in Sydney, Australia, helping my parents through a difficult time, over the lunch, the thought came into my head that you studied diamond business, and virtually between humans and diamonds, there is so much in common. Diamonds become brilliant by going through pressure, through high temperature, from just a piece of carbon becoming brilliant just because this particular diamond chosen to do that. Not every piece of carbon becomes a brilliant diamond. And it's like us, we always have a choice. We have a power within us that can offer and can make us unstoppable, can make us so strong that there is nothing in this world that we cannot overcome if we choose. If we choose this inner power over fears that it's simply elusive, simply a smoke, something that can completely disappear from our vision if we stop focusing on it. Because love, it's something that we are made of. Love is not a feeling of intimacy or acceptance. Love is energy that virtually our being is made of. And I've been writing about it in my books. We have an empty space between the cells that scientists call dark space. But those dark spaces, it's exactly the love that holds our whole body the way it is now. If you take love out of equation, we are not going to exist anymore. But nobody tells us about it. Nobody tells us that love is this energy of inspiration, energy of healing, energy of connection, energy of victory. Everything within us that make us victorious is this energy of love that actually within each and every cell of our body. And it cannot disappear as long as we are alive. Love keeps us, keeps our heart beating.
I would agree. And you brought up your books. In your book, you speak about the diamond's brilliance emerging from the darkest compression. You mentioned broad stroke here with people. So, for the listeners, is there something more specific they can do to recognize that the pressure in their own life is really an invitation to brilliance and not defeat?
100%. When
Yeah.
people understand that life purpose, everybody is looking for satisfaction in life. I think most of the issues begin when people lose their direction and they live from day to day, and at some point life becomes no longer interesting, no longer exciting. But each and every one of us came in this lifetime to experience happiness and joy of life, even if it doesn't seem to be that way. And there is always something, a spark of brilliance, a spark of joy, and a spark of inner uniqueness that lives within each and every person, just waits to be unleashed, waits to be accepted and to discover. Because life is a game. It's like everything, it's like children play hide and seek. It's what's happening to us in life. When we're born, we simply forgotten about everything. We don't remember who we truly are. We don't even, some of us don't even believe that there are previous lifetimes. People don't believe sometimes they have soul. They feel disconnected. And the whole purpose of life is to be connected again with this light, with this love, with this power within you. And the moment you looked at life from a different angle, because God and life is multifaceted. And it's very easy to prove, because if you take 20 people and you ask them the same question, each and every one will come up with completely different viewpoint. We're all different. And in this life, there is nothing wrong or right. Everything is right for you where you are in your journey at that point of life. Life should create regrets, but we should live life with curiosity. We should open our minds and hearts in a way when we were as a children, because children want to know everything. If there is something in life that doesn't give you joy, ask yourself, what can I do to bring joy into my life? It can be something very small and very simple. People can create changes that will enhance their life and improve their life dramatically, even if they do something very small. Sometimes, even to change the way you look, to change the way you dress, um, to change your environment. Everything has effect upon us. What we eat, what we say, who we allow into our environment, friends that we have, everything plays crucial role, and there is no coincidences, because what we emit from within us, they attract to us. If you want to listen to a classical music and you're playing hard rock, there is no way you can connect to the frequency of classical music unless you change the station. So I believe that by changing small things, little things, You don't have to wait for major changes, but doing little step every day, paying attention to the way you feel is much more important than to pay attention to the way you think. Because it's easy for us to think through life. It's easy to find logical explanation what's wrong with us or why we are not feeling the way we do. We've forgotten how to feel. We've forgotten that heart is a guiding light, and it's our compass to happiness and joy. And our mind, nothing wrong with it, but it was given to us for survival issues. It will take us in circles over and over again, telling us the same stories we heard before. So if you want to change your story, you have to drop from your head into your heart and begin to feel through life. And if something doesn't make you feel good, change it.
It seems like it keeps going back to the heart. I'm all about the curiosity. I think that that's super important, especially as we create. And there's nothing wrong with going big, but keeping it simple and manageable really does bring that joy back.
Joy is a choice. People have thoughts that if I am in the company of somebody who makes me feel good, or somebody in relationship that will complete me and make me happy and joyful. But people are not perfect. None of us is. We all have negative and positive within us. But if people understand that the joy is a pure choice, you wake up in the morning and you can feel the joy within your heart for no reasons. Because it's easy to feel joy when you have the reason for it. But you have to train yourself to connect to the joy within you simply by choosing that joy and say, you know what? I'm going to invite joy into my life, into everything, every experience I'm going to have, in every meeting I'm going to join. Whatever I will do, whether I eat, whether I walk, or I speak to someone, I choose joy. You would not believe how magical this choice can be. Maybe if it's not going to happen in the first day, within a short period of time, life becomes completely, it's like you change the script of the movie, and movie, it's no longer a horror movie, but a beautiful love story.
Yes, it's a conscious decision for sure. Diana, what would you say your relationship to silence is? And can silence be a medicine in this work?
I think silence is the most important language of communication. Funny enough, I call it language because it's a silent language. We conditioned in our human world to live in the noisy environment that keeps us busy doing things and keeps us separated from our inner world more than we know. And people, I just had a conversation recently with someone, and I said that people scared of the silence like they're scared of death because they think silence, it's like death. A lot of people cannot be any longer by themselves. They need people around them to remind them that they're still alive. But silence is a language to connect to your inner self. Your body speaks to us, unfortunately, through pain because we disregard our feelings, we disregard our emotions, or we simply don't accept them. And the moment we turn in, even just for a 3 breaths, not even thinking that meditation, it needs to be meditation and you have to take 30, 40 minutes, 1 hour, and I don't have time, I'm busy. I always say life is meditation. Whatever we do is meditation. Whether you take a walk or you talk to a friend or you read something or you simply play an instrument, everything is meditation. Everything, whatever you do with yourself, it's for yourself. And how you do it That's the result of how you feel. If people want to think of silence like sitting and trying to clear the mind and find it exceptionally difficult, I always say the best connection is through the breath. Just touch your heart and do conscious breath, not just simple breath because breath keeps us alive, but conscious breath. When you connect to your heart, you virtually physically touch it. Then you close your eyes and you do deep breaths in, like bringing into yourself, into your consciousness, luminous, diamond white light. And this light fills all your body, clearing every sadness, every negative feeling you feel, and goes into the Mother Earth. You can clear your body and free your body and connect to your body with simply just doing multiple breaths through the day that brings you back to the point of balance, even if something negative happened, even if you felt disturbed or stressed or whatever happened to you. This moment of silence, just for a moment, just for this 60 seconds, creates such unbelievable effect on your physical and mental health that I can't even tell you. I constantly do it. It's like a moment of reset. It's like a vehicle because it's driven on gasoline. The moment you put it on neutral, you can just roll down without using any energy. And in order to bring healing back to us and bring balance back to us, that's all it needed. It needs a moment of conscious breath and connection.
That's great, and I love that example. The other thing that I personally like to do is just turn off the external noise, because even when you're in nature, you're still hearing beautiful sounds, but it's a different type of silence. I like to remove the manufactured noises. It makes a difference, and I agree with you with it's all about the breath. Diana, when people come to you seeking clarity, what's the first delusion they usually need to release?
I think the delusion that needs to be understood is that we are not just humans on the spiritual experience. We are the spirits on the human journey. We are the spirit. It's all about evolution of the soul. It's not about what's happening with us as a human being, because everything goes, when this life ends, everything goes back to the source. The moment the soul decides to put the human body on and to begin the new life experience, it came here for evolution purposes. It came here to become wiser. It's to become more complete, to have more. It's like a diamond that needs to be polished in order to become brilliant like the creator. Every time the soul comes into the human body and goes through experience it's chosen, because soul chooses everything, chooses parents and environment and type of the body and type of experience that will happen only for the evolution purposes. So when we understand that we are not human seeking spiritual connection, we are the spirits trying to experience everything that it's possible, every emotion, every feeling. Life becomes different because you will look at life from the different point of view. You will look from inside out, not from outside in. Everything changes
That's so
because,
important. How do you discern between spiritual bypass and true surrender? Has that line ever blurred for you?
yes, the issue of many illnesses is resistance. Because it's like, I always give this analogy: when you have river that flows freely, because water just life, water it's free. The moment you build some kind of barrier, it becomes very resistant. It always try to break through, and it's very similar to all of us. we're trying to do it by ourselves. We think we can succeed, but life shows us each and every time that only when you become one with your spirit, you can become free from all the kind of things that hold us prisoners of our own life and emotions. And by resisting this connection, we make our life truly hard. And we go through these experiences much harder than it was meant to be. The moment we find this connection and the moment we put trust into the system and can relax and enjoy the experience, life becomes different. But in order to find this trust and to create this connection takes time, takes, first of all, desire. I believe if there is no desire, nothing will happen. If somebody is simply skeptical and want to just to prove himself being right, because some people just like to debate, they don't really want to change anything. They simply want to analyze mentally. But if somebody really feel he is ready to change his life and to find this magical empowered within him, everything starts to unfold as if by magic. It takes a strong desire to find your way out, to heal your body, to heal your soul, to become one with your divine creator that lives through you every moment of life. And it has nothing to do with religion. Because in one of my books, I've written completely different story of the creation that people already know. Creator wanted to experience something different, to a bliss and feeling of joy that he truly is. Because light is just light. Light cannot experience anything else but light, but bliss and joyfulness. So in order to experience different emotions and feelings, it needed a container. It needed something that he can experience through. It's become a human vessel. We are the human vessel for God to experience life. God experiences life through us every moment and every day because people know nothing about it and they feel separated from this immense power and energy that it's already within us because it's like a piece of pebble that because diamond before it's become polished and brilliant was just a piece of pebble covered with native coating and unless you know that this pebble is valuable and unless you made a little window to look within and to see what potential it has, you wouldn't know. The same thing with us. If we want to find our potential, we need to look within. We cannot find on the outside. On the outside, we'll find separation, limitations, darkness, something that holds us back and making us small and disconnected. The moment we want to tap in, we have to have a desire to look within, allowing ourselves to connect to our mind, body, and soul in a way we hasn't done before.
You know, it feels like we're in an era of spiritual content overload right now. How do you stay anchored in a soul led truth rather than performative light?
First of all, I talk to my soul, virtually talk. Every moment of day, I consciously connect to my body. If I have to, I talk to my body and to my soul like a friend, like I talk to you. Even if I go grocery shopping and I have to find something that is good for me, I ask my body, what would be beneficial for me? And I'm waiting for answer. And sometimes I use pendulum. If I don't feel I hear it correctly, I use pendulum that shows me whether this item it's clean, it's good, it will enhance my body and spirit. Anything I want to do in life, I ask my body, mind, and soul. It's like I have a best friend inside of me. And instead of feeling lost or ask somebody else, I always say, who can know yourself better than you? No doctor on this planet and no friend can feel the pain or the distress that you do. Nobody can. You have to be your own judge. You have to listen to others, but always make your own conclusion. Because people have tendency to listen to someone, then to blame this someone because, if they don't experience joy or happiness out of this action, when you try to connect to yourself, which is infinite and wise and deep and knowledgeable, and this knowledge is always with you. It's not inside of anybody's books, it's within you. It just needs to be open and unleashed through connection. It's like when you want to connect to a friend, you talk to it. You talk to a friend, you ask questions, you communicate. When you begin to communicate with your body and with your soul, your life becomes total joy and curiosity because it's like always having friend with you wherever you travel.
Yes, and we have to remember to listen to that,
Absolutely.
to listen to the body
Yeah.
also. Diana, for the people interested in your work, what would that look like and how would they connect with you?
First of all, I have a website called thediamondwithin.co.uk. On my website, they will find my books. They will find also, I offer free 1 hour discovery session, like heart to heart, soulful conversation to help and to see if they can be a perfect fit for each other. Because I believe there are many beautiful mentors and many beautiful teachers. You have to find the one that speaks to your soul. And the moment you do, it's like becomes like a marriage. It's easy because it's easy to understand. I also write poetry. And my second book that came out, it's book of poetry that filled with a lot of love and inspiration. It's something that helps to boost your energy level and inspire you from within. I use different modalities for different things, but I always find the way that feels right for this particular person because I don't believe in one size fits all. I don't believe in something that will help everybody. Everyone is unique, and every person needs to be treated as unique, brilliant diamond. And the moment you find your own ways of healing your body and mind of soul, because I'm only helping people to find this empowerment within them. I simply guided them to the destination that already within them. It's become like a self-help tool. I have quite a lot of self-help tool, which is like a free resources on my website, which once they go in, they will find it. But the 1 hour free discovery session plays a huge role because it helps you to look at whatever issues you have from different angle you would not even think about. Because I always say life, it's like living in a high-rise building. When you are on the ground floor, that's all you can see out of your window. When you go higher and you're on the 25th floor, it opens so much more possibilities. And that's what it's all about. You can't do it on your own. It doesn't matter how many sessions or how many courses you've done. Sometimes it needs somebody's loving hand to show you the way. And the moment you're on your path, you become victorious. The most important is to find your way through the darkness into the light because light is already there, but sometimes you don't see it because it's not in your awareness yet. Everything I can do is to shine the light, to bring awareness and to help to hold the hand through the darkness.
That's all very important. Diane, you mentioned coming from the heart a number of times in the show today. If you could inject one frequency into the collective heart of humanity right now, what would it be?
Love. And you know what? Every day I wake up, I see the world differently. I see the beam of light from the heart of the Creator and my own heart enveloping the whole globe. I wake up to the new earth. I wake up to a new reality. And I know it's already here because we're just not experiencing yet. And it looks very negative and very chaotic, and there are wars going on. As long as you're not focusing on the fear, but focusing on love, we can change this world for better in no time. If enough people will do it simultaneously, this world can be changed very fast. Love is the only frequency, the highest frequency exists in the whole universe. Love, it's how God created people.
I totally agree. And it's happening. It may not feel like it's happening sometimes, but it's happening and it's going to be here before you know it. Thank you so much, Diana. This conversation reminded us that transformation isn't always about bouncing back. Sometimes it's about becoming someone completely different. That's part of the journey. For our listeners, if something from today's episode stood out or resonated with you, take a moment to sit with it. That's your system remembering there's a lot of tools, a lot of people out there. Feel free to reach out to Diana. Until next time, stay curious, stay grounded, and keep listening to that deeper part of yourself that already knows the way. You've got this. Thanks again, Diana, for being on the show.
Thank you so much, Sandra, for having me. Lots of love.
Lots of love.
Thank you for joining us for this episode of Wild Soul Gatherings Happy Hour for the Spiritually Curious. To learn more about our guests, please go to our website, wildsoulsgathering.com. We're very eager to hear from our listeners what you thought of the episode, topics you might like us to cover in the future, your thoughts on spirituality, questions you may have. Please feel free to send us an email at wildsoulsgathering@gmail.com.
This is your host, Dr. Sandra Marie, sending each of you peace and love. Until we meet again, embrace your wild soul.